So right off the bat, I want to make it clear that I'm extremely tired, so if my opinions and what I'm saying is kind of messed up and doesn't make a whole lot of sense, that's understandable. I apologize in advance, but I'll do my best to communicate my thoughts and my opinions and most of all my video response to this man. So if you didn't watch my video I made a couple weeks ago titled Facebook Parenting, I made a video response to a dad who publicly humiliated his daughter in front of 29 million people simply because she posted a Facebook post about him and her mother saying that she doesn't get paid for chores and that their mom and dad are ungrateful and doesn't appreciate the young girl. Basically, this post of this girl was disrespectful to the father. The father saw the post, got pissed, angry, then made a video, uploaded to YouTube, and blew up the computer, shot the computer with his Colt 1911 pistol, shoots the computer, and says, well, you now have to buy me a new laptop with all your hard-earned money, and you have to pay me all the rounds for the guns I just shot the laptop, which I paid for, but I'm making you pay for it because I'm just mad at you for disrespecting me. To sum it up, the father humiliates his daughter publicly in front of 29 million people, while the daughter made a typical rebellious Facebook post on her Facebook saying, oh, I'm not appreciated, you guys are ungrateful, blah, 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 blah. However, in case you guys did not know, this father made yet another video addressing Dr. Phil. Because this Facebook parenting video went viral, Dr. Phil saw it, and he talked about it on his television show. But I want to forewarn you that I do not like Dr. Phil. I don't like him. I don't watch his show. However, I agree with him on this issue that what this father did here in humiliating his daughter like he did was wrong. Those type of situations should be dealt privately within the family home. Let's just watch the video and see what this guy has to say.
Hey guys, it's Tommy Jordan again. This is the second video I've done. Well, lately at least. The first one since the one I did out here in the yard where I blew holes in my kid's laptop. Not something I am particularly proud of, but I do stand behind what I did. I'm going to take this time to address Dr. Phil briefly in response to the video interview he did on NBC a couple days back. I respect Dr. Phil and what he does, and his show does have some great points, and he does help some people. But Dr. Phil, you came out and publicly just denounced me up one side and down the other, primarily because you said I publicly embarrassed my child, which, quite accidentally, I did. I mean, by accident, the punishment far outweighed the crime. But nothing I can do about that now.
Okay, stop right here. You did not quite accidentally embarrass your child. You did. You did it intentionally. In your first video, you make it clear that you're going to upload this video and you're going to share it to everybody so they can see this video. You didn't accidentally. Don't lie.
Well, you came out and said that you don't ever embarrass your child publicly. Ever, ever, ever. You just shouldn't do it. You're a thought leader here in America. You're an opinion leader here in America. You're a personality on national television every day. You do realize that not all, but a large majority of the premise of your show is you bringing troubled kids on, and troubled parents, troubled teens, and all age groups, and publicly humiliating them in front of the entire world for profit, right? You do understand that's the principle of your, I mean, you've been on your show. I assume you know that. You host the show. I mean, you do every day as a career what you told me you should never ever do. You are a publicized opinion leader, thought leader, for millions of viewers every week. If you cared that much about not publicly embarrassing kids, you'd be practicing behind closed doors, not in front of a live studio audience, in front of television cameras and the whole world every day of your life.
Completely wrong. First of all, you must not understand how national television works, much less Dr. Phil's show. People basically apply to get on that show. They send in a call, they call in, send in something, say, you know, this is the problem, I want to go on national television for publicity and have my problem shared publicly to the world, and I want Dr. Phil to counsel us or even perhaps humiliate us and talk about our situation and try to help us on national television. It's the same thing with court cases like Judge Judy. You apply to get your case taken by Judge Judy, and if she selects it, it goes on national television. Do you know how many people try to get on Judge Judy because they want to be on television? They want their case to go live on national television? It's the same reason why people go on Dr. Phil's show. That is the true difference. People know what they're doing when they try to get on Dr. Phil's show. You, on the other hand, you saw a post from your daughter that was a typical rebellious teenage response to their parents. And you acted in a very immature, angry, rather pathetic and funny reaction. So let me ask you a question, Tommy Jordan. When has Dr. Phil brought his family on his television show to talk about their personal problems within their family? Like family conflicts. You know, Dr. Phil's married. He has kids. Has he ever brought his family issues publicly on his national show? Of course not. No. No. If Dr. Phil did that, then yes, your evaluation of him would be accurate. However, he hasn't. But remember, I don't like Dr. Phil, but in this video, I'm defending what he said. Public humiliation of your child is disgusting, especially when 29 million people see it, and maybe only a few hundred of her friends saw the post that she posted about you.
So, I don't give that argument any credence, sir. I'm sorry. I just don't. You went on to but point out that people that were raised like I was were raised wrong, and that our parents made mistakes by teaching us to respect our elders, and by using means that you don't approve of, spanking or calling a kid down in public or whatever. Quite frankly, I disagree again. The punishment has to fit the crime. If I acted up in the grocery store, my mother tore my tail up in the grocery store. If I acted up at home in the privacy of my own house, she probably tore my tail up in the privacy of my own house. Did I get spanked as a kid? Sure I did, yeah. Most people my age did. Was I abused? Not at all. I can look back now and probably remember just about every spanking I ever got. And I deserve most of them. Then I can look back and think of all the times I deserved to get it and didn't get it. And there's probably more of them. But my mother and father did right. And I think most of America, well, hell, I know most of America agrees. I would have never had the courage to poll what NBC polled. And I don't think the poll was entirely accurate or allowed all the demographics to come through, but it was a pretty obvious difference. 73% of 124,000 people agreed that you're wrong, and that the news media thus far that's pushing for these pampered, entitled kids is wrong. Not 50, not half and half, not 49, 73%. And I had a call from NBC who told me that not only was that an incredible number, but that they don't ever poll 125,000 responses. That's not an average response. You may get 4,000, 5,000, 20,000 at 125,000. And 7 out of 10 said it was right. So rather than picking on me, if 75% of the American population thinks we ought to raise our kids that way, maybe you should spend some time adjusting how you talk to the American public on television.
So what this Tommy Jordan is attempting to argue is because 70% of people think it's okay to publicly humiliate your child, like this father did, getting 29 million views on his video, that therefore, because 70% think it, therefore, his actions and what he did was right. What this boils down to is a simple thing called a fallacy. I'm not going to go into detail to explain what a fallacy is. If you don't know what it is, just look it up on Wikipedia. there's plenty of different types of yummy. There's plenty of different types of fallacies, but the fallacy this Tommy Jordan is committing here is the bandwagon appeal, or I believe the technical term, I'm probably going to butcher the name, is ad argumentum ad populum, I believe. This is a fallacy which is a argument which usually fails. Basically, what the argument claims is that because a certain amount of people think it or believe it, therefore it automatically makes whatever it is right or true. And this falls short. This doesn't follow. It's also known as the appeal to popularity. Well, if a lot of people think this way, then it must be true, it must be right. And this argument fails, because just because you have a amount of people who think that spanking or beating your child's fine, that doesn't make the action right. It's a fallacy. It's basic logic 101. And that's really the only problem. Well, actually, I had two problems. The second problem I had with this video is that he's committing a fallacy in his argument right here when he says that he did right, he knows he did right, because 70% of the population of the people who voted said that he was right, and that Dr. Phil was wrong. It's a fallacy, and it falls short on itself. That and the fact that Dr. Phil does not publicly humiliate people in the same way this Tommy Jordan did with his daughter, because people are selecting to go on to his show, wanting to be on national television, wanting to have their story be on broadcasted. And those are the only two problems I had with this video. But I wanted to point them out nonetheless, because obviously this parent didn't take the time to think about it. But before I end this video, this just popped into my head as I was filming. To you parents out there who believe that I am unqualified to give any advice or give an opinion on parenting or how to raise children, you say to me, you are not a parent, therefore what you say is invalid. Your opinion is invaluable and worthless in a pile of donkey poo simply because you're not a parent, and if you were a parent, you'd understand and you would agree with us. This is a short message to you parents who are watching this video right now. Based upon your own logic you're using towards me, you can't tell me who's your favorite baseball team is and why you think they're better than my baseball team. Do you catch my drift? Because you're not a baseball player, you're not a basketball player, you're not a football player, so therefore anything you say about football, basketball, or baseball is automatically invalidated because you're not a baseball or basketball player to begin with. Do you see? It takes very little thinking to realize this, but I have parents responding to me and even writing me emails saying that I'm unqualified and I can't give a valid opinion on what this guy did regarding his daughter. You parents are quite right, though. I'm not a parent. But at least I'm capable of thinking.